I welcome you to the Lighthouse for another 30-minute meditation session. So this week we've been really taking a look at intellectually, intuitively, and experientially, taking a look at what it takes to increase our range of awareness, and how it is to come around to the long, narrow road to inner space. So, in integrative practices, we do a variety of different kinds of meditations. We have stillness practices, we have activation practices, we have contemplation practices. And today I want to take a soft bend, like a willow branch would bend in toward the waves of the water that it's growing near. I want to take a soft bend into what I call an open space practice, which is a very beautiful practice, which will involve a mudra almost always, and then a gentle breathing practice, and then I'll provide the mantra. So, the Sufis write about and sing about and speak of, they refer to what they call the nous. And the nous is what the Sufis call the eye of the heart. And so very oftentimes in our practices and in the approach to practice, we want to, again, find the narrow road that can very, very easily get covered up or hidden or forgotten about. We want to find the narrow road that leads us to the open space that is the eye of the heart, the Sufi nous. I think that's a very poetical, beautiful image that they have created for the seeker. And I have for many years found myself in meditation practices visualizing this eye of the heart. And it's the identification and the endeavoring toward this open space in the eye of the heart that alchemizes, that alchemizes and transforms what in the Andes they call hucha. So hucha is what the wisdom keepers in that mountain range call the dense energies that we are oftentimes identifying with, that aren't necessarily even our own energies, or the thought processes or the mental programs that we're running in our mind that can become very much like a loop. All of these different kinds of iterations of darkness are what these wisdom keepers refer to as being hucha. And so don't you love that word, hucha? I mean, it just sounds like dense energy. To me, it does. It's got that sort of like onomatopoetic quality to it. So in my experience, and that's what I like to teach from, is from my experiential portfolio of the things that have really made the greatest impact in my life and that have helped me to find that magnetic neutral and the equilibrium and the radical compassion, which is the fusion of passion and dispassion. When passion and dispassion come to a crossroad, then the byproduct of that is radical compassion. And when we are in the open space of the eye of the heart of our human heart, then we're in a field of radical compassion. So we're going to use the practice to get into the open space and to cleanse out the hucha, to detoxify any kind of dismorphia that might be going on in the psyche or the soma, any kind of dissonance, any kind of perception of dystopia, any kind of distortion. We're using the open space practice to get us into a multi-dimensional equilibrium. And I was speaking about this in yesterday's session, the multi-dimensional equilibrium that allows us to be experiencing gratitude in action in every moment of our life. So without further ado, let's get into the practice. So you're going to weave your fingers together in an angular way. So you're creating these sort of, I like to think of them as swords. You're creating a diagonality. And this is really important in all the work that we do in integrative practices, is having tools, having the wherewithal, and having the commitment to creating a shift in the angle of our perception whenever necessary. And that's why we call it integrative practices, because we have to practice this stuff on the daily or on the ordinary, right? Because the nature of the human mind is just so tenacious in that it wants to stay in the dimensions of hucha a lot, even when we're not, battling a plague, which we are. So we need to have these diagonality practices that give us an elevated and more open outlook. Again, it's an open space practice. So you're going to create this locking of the fingers, and then you're going to hover it in one of two places. You can hover it in front of your heart, which for me, this is kind of a traditional place to hover the mudra. For me, it feels a little tight in my shoulders to do an extended hover right in front of my heart center. I actually like to take it down a couple of inches. My experience with this practice has found that it gives me access to even more open space. So it's kind of right in front of your third chakra, which is a really important wheel of energy right here in the sort of sternum center of your physical being. That is your where all of the codices of honor and willpower and so forth they reside. All of these jewels and gems that are these codes. So be sure that you're extending your thumbs out and that there's a kind of stretched openness in all of the subtle channels to be felt in the hands, okay? So you're going to be looking at the tip of the nose, and you're going to make an O shape with the mouth and drink in as much oxygen and chi as you possibly can on the inhalation. Be really attentive to bringing each and every inhale all the way down to the back of your kidneys and all the way back or all the way down to the pelvic floor, okay? So drink it in through the O shape of the mouth while looking at the tip of the nose. Hold on to it, and then exhale out of the nostrils. At the completion of your exhale, pull your abdominal wall back. And then from the pelvic floor and the abdominal wall, pull the whole ball of the belly up and back so that the pelvic floor is moving in a magnetic manner towards the bottom of the heart, energetically towards the open space in the throat, energetically towards the palate, the upper palate of the mouth, towards the roof of the skull, and then up and out into the infinite, okay? So we're gonna do this for a little bit. So take this moment before we dive in to be very sure that your body is comfortable and that you can sustain the posture that you're in without getting too distracted by a knee or a hip. So if you need to tuck a cushion or a bolster underneath you, or if you need to reposition so that you're in a chair so it feels more sustainable, by all means, take those measures so that you can go as deep into the heart of the practice, so that you can go as deep into the nous, into the Sufi eye of the heart, and that you can open the eye of the heart to let the light in and to let your light out. Access all the energy that's available in the meditation to be as constructive as possible, to make a transition from any kind of doubt that might be having a handle on you right now toward, having a more doubtless stance, because, doubt kills all alchemy. So making many shifts in the angle of our perception. I'm gonna take a sip. So breathing in through the O shape of the mouth. Holding on to the breath. And exhaling through the nostrils. Let this mantra fill you with an infinitude of creative life force flow, to be a student of the flow. freedom, the narrow road north to the nous, the eye of your human heart. One breath at a time, by and by, transforming any of the hucha, any of the density, dysmorphia, dissonance, distortion, dystopia, transforming it into clarity and an unpresented presence. Take it up a notch. Take it deeper, because you are in it and you trust it. You have absorbed into the meditation. We're going to go right back into it. Inhale even deeper than you have yet. Acknowledging that which sustains us, embodying that frequency which liberates us, honoring that which uplifts us, the infinite, honoring that which tends to everything, takes care of everything, honoring that which by its grace all is done. Namelessness, desirelessness, omnipotence, that which envelops everything. Ultimate friend, our ultimate teacher, and the giver of a clean code of consciousness, Bring the mudra back down to your lap. Maybe move around a little bit on the axis of the spine. Feel a small thread of breath rising up from the base of the tailbone, through the terrain of the belly, through the halls of the brain, through the rivers of your blood. Come right back into the brain. If you tuned in to any of the earlier sessions this week, you heard me referring to the satellite of the pineal gland and how every time we meditate, we make adjustments in terms of what we are emitting, what we're projecting, what kind of signal we're sending out from this very important gland. We create an incredible shift in its frequency and in its sort of biochemical flow. You're probably feeling that right now. Tune in to the signal that's pulsing out from your brain into our changing world, to the new earth. Tune into what you're projecting out. And now take a moment to tune in to how the meditation hopefully helped you to catalyze a kind of atomic restructuring of the geometric patterns in the matrix of your fascia, giving you access to being a more relaxed human being. Less tension, more flow. Quiet beingness radiating from your pelvic floor, from the bottom of your heart, from the center of your mind, from the soles of your feet, totally absorbed into this moment here now. Bearing witness to how the tyranny of the mind has relaxed. It doesn't bite as much when we take time to make the journey into stillness, into absorption, into open space. Last breath in, please. Exhale into emptiness. If your eyes are closed, allow them to flutter open. I wish you all a really beautiful day or weekend, or maybe evening if you're tuning in after the live broadcast. Thank you so much for taking time to take care. Meditation is a form of self-care that allows us to bring our highest nature to all of the other 23 and a half hours of the day and night. So I want to applaud you for making that window in the flow of your day. I look forward to tuning in with you next week. Thank you so much. Sat Nam. Namaste.